Everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Year of the Batman. So excited about today's episode. It is the first movie of the year, and it's the Batman the movie 1966. And I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite Batman movies just because it's so campy. So it starts off that there's a report that there's like some kind of important missing cruise liner with like this Commodore, and he's like a really important figure. So Batman and Robin are on the case, and they go there via the Batcopter, and holy cow, this thing looks so sick. If I ever win the freaking lottery, I am getting a helicopter and I'm detailing it exactly like that. I love the style of it. It reminds me exactly of like the how they did the 1966 the Batmobile. It's like in that style, like the same paint with the red trim and whatnot, and it just looks so sick. And I love the wings with it. But anyway, enough of that. So Batman and Robin, they're on the tail of this boat, and Batman gets lowered down with like the bat ladder. And he gives the controls to Robin, funnily enough. And throughout the first season, they made it a point that Robin cannot drive because he does not have his driver's license yet. So I don't know why, but but he's fine to drive the Batcopter, but not the car. So I don't know. Also, regarding the Batcopter, this series probably does like Batman traveling through the air in like the best way possible because on their way they like called the Air Force and said, "Hey, prepare the Batcopter," and the Batcopter is in the Air Force base in a hangar that gets prepared for them. And I'm just like, that makes like life so much easier for them because there's not just some random thing flying in the sky escaping away. Like the Batmobile I can kind of see escaping like into the tunnel where it drives, but like I don't know how you could be like conspicuous with like something that flies. So it is neat that like Batman is like an official uh like he is official with like the US Air Force. But anyway, so Batman, he's like lowering himself down the ladder, and it turns out there's no boat there. The boat completely disappears. It was like a trick, and he gets attacked by a shark. And this is where like the famous like the meme of the bat shark repellent comes into play. So Robin, he like in the most overly complicated way climbs down the ladder and like upside down hands Bruce the spray, and then that does the trick, and the shark falls, and as soon as it hits the water, it explodes. So they go back to Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara, and they're all discussing like what could have happened, and Commissioner Gordon's like, "Hey, Secretary, what's the list of all the super criminals that are out right now?" And I'm thinking to myself, well, there shouldn't be any. So the fact that you made it plural just kind of it doesn't help the case of Gotham. So then, of course, they say, yeah, there's four out right now. It's the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman, and it's so funny because like they're figuring out who it could be, and they're like, oh well, a fish was involved, so it has to be a penguin, and a shark was pulling your leg, Batman, so that has to be the Joker. Oh, and there was something tricky about all this, so it has to be the Riddler. And then Robin frickin' goes, and it happened at C. C is in Catwoman, and I'm like, God damn it, that logic makes no sense, but in this universe it does. Of course he's right, but it's just so stupid, and I love it. So they go back to the Batcave, and they're doing some work trying to figure out what happened to like how did the boat disappear? Oh, beforehand, they did have a press conference, which is weird because they never do press conferences. And there was like this lady from Moscow who was, Catwoman in disguise, and she was like, "Oh, can you take off your mask?" And everybody just like is so appalled, like, "Oh my god, how could she ask such a stupid question? What a stupid bitch!" And Batman's like, "Hey, it's okay, guys. hey, if I take off my mask, I'm getting arrested. Like, I'm working with the U.S. government right now, and that's as long as I keep this thing on. So, yeah. Um, so, anyway, they're back at the Batmobile. They find out that there's an illegal buoy that was projecting the whole thing, and I'm just like, how the hell good is that camera to make it seem like there is a boat going across the water? I mean, for like several miles too, because they, as Batman was lowering, the helicopter kept on going as they were like following it. So, and it was only one buoy that did all that. So I don't know. It's the '60s, so the logic is kind of out the window. So Batman and Robin, they go back using the Batboat to get to the buoy and check it out, and uh, Penguin's sub is waiting for him, and it's kind of cute because like it's a big submarine painted like a penguin, and it's got like little little feet just swimming to guide it across, and so they launch torpedoes at him, and Batman repels two of them with like he set his like communicator to some kind of polarizing degree. I mean, it's just yada yada. I mean, they explain it, but if you think about it, you're just like, eh. But anyway, so then a third one's coming, and it's it's so dumb, and his battery dies on him, and it's you see an explosion, and then the next shot it's just Batman and Robin like just driving off in the Batboat like nothing happened, which is funny because they were attached to the buoy via magnets, so it doesn't really explain how they got out of that. But Robin's talking to like, "Wow, Batman, it sure was lucky that that porpoise swam in front of the miss or the torpedo." And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that is such a dark image. Just imagining this like porpoise vibe and swimming in the ocean, and out of fucking nowhere, a torpedo comes in and just takes his ass out. Um, so so they go back to the Batcave, and they're like, "Ah, oh, damn it, guys! That the trick to take out Batman and Robin didn't work. We really need to step things up. What's the plan? Do we do like one of your plans, one of my plans?" And the Riddler's like, "Hey, whoa! Let's all combine plans and just like just do it together." So Catwoman, you'll be the bait, and I'll set up the riddles to lure him here, and then we'll use Joker's Jack in the Box trap door to fling him out, and then he'll fly right into an exploding octopus. And it's just like, okay, I mean, I feel like I feel like two people aren't as incorporated as the other two, but whatever. So they're like, oh well, how are we gonna get Batman here? And they're like, oh, well, why don't we like kidnap like some millionaire, and like just he'll want to save the day, right? So like, oh, well, who could that be? Oh, what about Bruce Wayne? He's a goody two shoes. He should be a good fit, and obviously that plan's gonna backfire. So Catwoman, as like the Kitka, the Russian reporter, she meets up with Bruce, and they're having a date. And during the date, Robin and Alfred are like following them to make sure he's safe at all times, because they I don't know how they know, but they feel like Kitka's in danger, so he wants to protect her. Um, so they're on the date, and they're having a good old time, and Batman is like really head over heels with this woman, and they have like this carriage ride, and they get all lovey-dovey, and then Robin's like, I think some moments are meant to be private, and he turns that off. And then eventually they get back to her place, and I'm just like, man, Batman, you are like speed running this date, man. Like you were, because he was like, hey, why don't we head back to your place, Kitka? I'd like that. And so Batman and Alfred, or I mean, Robin and Alfred, they're watching Batman, and it's so cute because Alfred, he's just in his normal attire, and but he's just got like just a little mask on his eyes, like that's his disguise. Start watching, and they're getting more lovey dovey, and Robin's like, yeah, I don't need to see this, and I respect him for respecting Bruce's privacy, but at the same time, there's like four super criminals like trying to be a part of this. Because Kitka, she came to Batman, and she was like, "Hey, I got this riddle. I think I'm in danger." And Batman's like, "Oh, no, no, no." Or Bruce is like, "No, no, no, you're fine. But we should go on a date." So they obviously think Riddler's involved and gonna go after her next. So that's why he was so prudent to going out with her. So they're in their place, all lovey dovey, and Robin's like, I don't like this. I'm gonna turn this off. And it's just like, Robin, if his life's in danger, maybe seeing Bruce's penis is kind of worth saving his life, because obviously they all they all rush in, and like there's a big fight, and in the end, but everybody, like all the bad guys win because it is funny. They did like a huge dog pile at the end of it, and then I don't know why the Penguin actor did this, but he like just sat on one of the guys and then just like stuck up his umbrella. And like the umbrella didn't even do anything. He just like opened it up and was sitting on the guys. I'm like, why did you do that? Who did you do that for? You just look silly. But so Batman and Kitka are captured, and Batman, or well, I mean they don't know it's bad. It's Bruce. Bruce is captured, and he he fights everybody again. And beforehand, it's really this is probably like my least favorite bit in the movie. Uh, they wake up separately, and Bruce is like, "Oh, if you harmed one part of Kitka, I'm going to kill all of you and rip you limb from limb." And I'm like, dude, you've been on one fucking date with this woman. Like, I don't think you've been that, like, had that much animosity for Alfred or Robin getting kidnapped before. Like, chill the hell out, Bruce. It's a girl, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Catwoman is very beautiful, but of the other women that have been cast in this show, like Gotham City is not short on lookers, especially Babette. Oof, Babette. Um, but I mean, he was like, I will kill, like I will break my rule to kill for that woman. I was just like, calm down. And so that's probably my least favorite part of the movie right there. If they would have toned it back just a hair, I would have been fine. So Batman escapes, and then during the tussle, one of the henchmen he steps on like the Joker's trapdoor thing, and he gets launched, and he gets exploded by the exploding octopus. I'm like, Jesus, well, that just happened. I mean, death isn't really it not like it doesn't happen in this universe, but it's rare that it happens. So I'm like, well, gosh. So he escapes, and all the criminals are like, all right, guys, we got to get our shit together. We need a way to fuck up Batman and Robin. Like we have to. Okay, they're the biggest crux to our downfall. So what are we gonna do? So they're like, well, what about this one backup plan with the dehydrator, because the Commodore, he invented this, and apparently it's this thing where it takes out all the liquid in your body, and it's kind of dark because they never tested it before. So they have these henchmen, and they're literally called guinea pigs 1 through 5, and they test it on, and yeah, they completely evaporate all 5 of them into like these piles of dust. And I'm just like, all right, there's no going back. Like those guys are dead. Like they, you can say whatever you want to, whatever you bring back from that dust, that is a ghost or a zombie or something. Those men are dead. So they have this really convoluted plan. Batman and Robin go back to the where Bruce was captured to try and rescue Kitka, and when he gets there, there's no Kitka, but there's a bomb, and it plays that awesome scene of like Batman trying to get rid of a bomb, and every corner he goes to, it's like a marching band, some nuns, a woman and her baby, a family of ducks, and he just can't get rid of it. And of course, the famous line, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb," and he eventually does, and then they're then approached, both Batman and Robin are approached by like Penguin in a Commodore disguise. And he's like, "Hello guys, I'm the Commodore. I was the guy that they kidnapped." And Batman, like, not even 2 seconds, he's like, "No bullshit, you're the Penguin." And I'm just like, now he's at least in a disguise and whatnot, and like, have you never seen Catwoman's face before? Because he hasn't even shown any remote signs figuring out that Kitka is Catwoman. And I'm just like, Bruce, dude, you're the world's greatest detective. Can you. Come on, man. Uh, the Commodore Penguin, he's like, "Well, I am who I say I am, but you're more than welcome to, test me and whatnot." And they're like, "Fuck you, we will." And so they gas him to bring him back to the Batcave, where they can like retinal scan his eyes because they couldn't do his fingertips because he had plastic on him, which he said he got from surgery. I'm just like, okay, okay, Penguin. And so he wakes up, um, and then the Penguin, he accidentally uses the wrong kind of water to rehydrate his men. So all five men are rehydrated, and like the second they are touched, they are completely destroyed. Like not turned back to like the dust, just gone. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that was five men gone in an instant. Like, and so the reason why is because it was like he used the water from like the bat turbines or something, and that like made their molecules unstable. Um, so yeah, that made things kind of rough. So Penguin, he's just like, well, shit, what do I do now? And Batman's like, "Oh, Commodore, this is one big misunderstanding. You are obviously a ploy to some kind of scheme," which, Batman's bullshitting him because he knows he's Penguin, but he's using him as bait. So him and Robin are taking the Commodore back, and before they wake him up, Batman's like, "Hey, Robin, take this pill real quick." So he does that, and he wakes him up, and Penguin immediately knocks them both out with his penguin gas, and he gets him out of the car, and he steals the Batmobile. And he's like, "Well, yeah, good, good idea. We took that anti-penguin gas pill." And I'm like, okay, okay, I could see it being like an anti-sleeping gas pill, but it was specifically the penguin gas. So where they unloaded on the highway, it right in the bushes where they parked was like the Bat Cycle, and I gotta say the Bat Cycle does look kind of lackluster. So does the Batboat. How would rank the four vehicles? Obviously, Batmobile, very closely the Batcopter. Batcopter's super cool, and then the Bat Cycle a little lower. Well, a lot lower because it just looks iffy, but the car which Robin is like separates and turns into like a little tiny go kart. Like it's literally like this big, and he just like rides on it like this, like kind of Indian style, and it just looks so cute. And then the Bat boat, it's just a boat. So that would be my ranking for that. So they're chasing Penguin, or no, they go to the airport to get in the Batcopter to chase him, and this is so stupid. So before they like all attack I guess it's like the Gotham version of the United Nations. They wanted to take Batman and Robin out first, and then hit up like the nine leaders and like the Gotham Unity Board or something like that. It's not important. It's just like there's nine leaders from nine different countries to discuss like global politics. So the Riddler, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna send up a Riddler to the police," and Catwoman and Joker are like, "Do you fucking have to? Because guess what, buddy? Every time you do that, it it like just explodes right in your face. Can you not? Please, for the love of God, please don't. And he's like, no, but thwarting Batman, it's what brings me joy. You know, bottling his mind and getting the best of him. They're like, well, you fucking haven't once, Jesus. But he does it anyway, and of all the fucking coincidences, the missile that's shooting up the Riddle, that's like gonna be a smoke cloud, it hits the Batcopter, and then the Riddler, he wants to see the where the missile went off, and he just sees the Batcopter crashing. He's like, "Holy shit! I fucking got him!" They're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "My missile, my Riddler missile, it hit the Batcopter," and they're like, "No shot! It did not hit the Batcopter." And it did hit the Batcopter, and they all think they're dead and they got him. But fortunately, Batman and Robin, they crash into like this foam rubber factory of all things, so they come out of it completely unscathed. So the the Penguin sub with Riddler, Catwoman, and Joker, they go to one part of the UN. I'm just gonna call it the United Nations. It's not, but it's the Gotham version of it. So they show up there, and then Penguin shows up at a different location. They all meet up, and they get to the room where all 9 ambassadors are, and they're all arguing. Like all 9 of them are arguing, and like as each one is getting dehydrated and turned into ash, none of them bat an eye. Like they just do not give a bother, which I think is kind of funny. So they steal all the ambassadors, and Batman and Robin are like hot on their trail. They fight in the ocean. They use like the Batmobile to like nail charges on the submarine so it has to surface. And a big fight ensues, and of course they win with like the pows and booms and whatnot. And it is kind of funny though. At one point during the fight, Catwoman throws a cat at Batman, and he spends like half the fight like awkwardly holding a cat and like getting people away from him, and then he's like fighting like across the whole sub so he can go to a raft and then throw the cat in to the into a raft, and I'm like, that's a real cat. I feel so fucking bad for that cat because I can't imagine it was happy during any of that. Um, so uh, they win, and all the 9 ambassadors, they're like in like these little tubes like this bit, well, like this big, and the Commodore who invented that, he shows up, and he like, I don't know what happened. He was like so fat, but he like falls or stumbles or whatnot, and he knocks them all down to the ground. The glass breaks, and they're spread everywhere. And Batman and Robin are like, no way you did that. But it's no big deal because in the Batcave, there's like this like, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was like some kind of dust separator modulator. So it perfectly uh, separates all the dust, so all 9 people are fine, and they rehydrate them back in the United Nations, well, the Gotham United Nations, and they immediately just get back to fighting like nothing happened. And it's so weird. The ending, it's like Batman, he's like, all right, Robin, now we must leave inconspicuously out the window. And they just like awkward. And keep in mind, there's like 20 other people aside from the emissaries, like in there, because like the police chief is there, Commissioner Gordon's there, and a whole bunch of reporters are there, and they just like sneak over to the window and climb down, and that's the credits. And I'm just like, that was a really weird way to end it. But all in all, looking back at this like movie, it's honestly just like 4 episodes worth, and it's good, but it's not great. Like if I was going to recommend anything to like encapsulate the camp and whatnot of like Batman 1966, it my first one wouldn't be the movie. It'd be like other 2-part episodes, honestly. Um, But overall, ranking wise, I'd probably still give it like a 5 out of 7. Like I said, it was good, not great, but good. Um, I still enjoy all the campy stuff though. That's really what you're here for Batman. Like the bat spray and like I can't get rid of a bomb and all the whatnots and have you. But anyway, that is it for this movie, and I will see you tomorrow for season 2. So I'm looking forward to that. Bye.